What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 5, episode 5. And what I will say is, girl, this might be Meredith's last season because she was only in the episode in the beginning, and I forgot about that lady until I looked at my notes. On top of that, Brittany is a pick-me bird, and she's delusional. And Lisa should have cussed that lady out down at that zip line. But let's get into this review. So let's talk about it. So the episode opens up and we get production is shady for putting that clip in of Henry, Lisa's son, playing video games, especially knowing what we gonna see Angie say in the middle of the episode. We then get this scene of Meredith. And when I tell you Meredith was not in this episode, but the first 3 minutes of the episode where we see her practice in Hebrew, if I had not wrote her name in my notes, I probably wouldn't have forgot. She's kind of fading into the background. She gonna have to come alive here soon. So we then end up on our real opening scene of Bronwyn and Lisa going to give foot massages. And so while they end up telling us this story, so while they're getting their feet massage, Bronwyn ends up saying in her confessional that when Lisa and her were in Milwaukee, they had a connecting flight trying to come back to Utah. And Bronwyn made a face or said something goofy and made a face. And Lisa said, "Oh my goodness, you look just like Gwen." And Bronwyn was like, "Nah, Gwen doesn't look like me. She looks like her dad." And then she pulled out her phone and showed Lisa a picture of Gwen's dad. And Lisa was like, "Oh my gosh, I know him. I have a personal relationship with his family." And Bronwyn was like, "Seriously?" And what we find out is that Bronwyn doesn't show people or tell people who Gwen's father is. Even her husband, Todd, was actually surprised that Bronwyn showed Lisa a picture of his family, a picture not of his family, but a picture of Gwen's father. And Bronwyn was like, "I don't even know why I did that because I normally would never do that." But the fact that Lisa actually has a relationship and is actually close with Gwen's father's family is just crazy to me. And so Bronwyn starts to give us more information about what happened about her getting pregnant. So it seems like she got pregnant at 19. Her and Gwen's dad went to their, the family to tell them. They called that lady everything but a child of God, said she was damaged goods, and she had a cardinal sin of getting pregnant out of wedlock, which is crazy to me that they give girls so much flack because patriarchy is crazy. Because I'm it takes two people to engage in this act. Okay, it takes two people to have a baby. So how are we just mad at the girl? And I oftentimes believe it it's because you can see the ramifications of sex on a woman is because she gets pregnant. But I'm just kind of how we mad at her saying she damaged goods, acting like he didn't stick it in her. What? And so she left that realizing she was going to be on her own. And they said some really hurtful things to her. And it seems like Bronwyn has not really has yet to forgive them in the past 18 years. And so Lisa's like, "Well, what about your family? How did they feel?" She said, "Girl, they was not happy. They was not happy with me, okay, sis? They, my dad had just got this new role in the church. I think she said he became a recorder. I don't know what that is. I feel like it's close to a parliamentarian, taking notes of the sermon or meetings in the church." And she was like, it strained her relationship with her mother. Nobody was really happy that I was 19, pregnant, unmarried, and a dropout or got kicked out of school. And she said she was never really ashamed of having Gwen, but everybody else around her was ashamed, and she had to deal with those feelings. And so Bronwyn starts to get emotional. Lisa starts to get emotional because we then end up finding out that unfortunately, Gwen's father died when she was 2 years old. Gwen's father and Bronwyn didn't really have a relationship, and the way she found out was on Facebook. Someone had commented that she was mutual friends with, and it was underneath an obituary. And so she was just like, "What?" And you could tell that it made her emotional because she starts getting teary-eyed in the confessional. And I was like, I wonder if that's is her feeling of like regret. Like he never got the opportunity of getting to know Gwen, or maybe Braun was always hopeful he would like come around and want to start being a part of his daughter's life, but like he'll never get that opportunity. And so, Lisa starts crying, Bronwyn starts crying, and Lisa's just like, I know this family. Like, I remember how they were when their son died. So to see that, and now to see Bronwyn, and she's like, it's just very like a heartbreaking situation. So then Lisa lets Bronwyn know that she actually talked to the grandmother and was like, are you interested in talking or building a relationship with Gwen? And the grandmother was just kind of like, yeah, like, I think it's time that I have a relationship with the daughter. And Bronwyn says, I'm going to be honest, Lisa, it's going to physically pain me to see her get to know those people. And it's like, dang, like you could tell that Bronwyn still has not let go of the things or how they treated her, and them being absent for 18 years. Because you would think they would want to build a relationship with the last remaining like image of their child, because their son's not coming back. And it's like, there's like out in the world, there's this little girl who is your son's daughter that you could have probably created beautiful memories with and help her gain a sense of her own self, as well as like possibly help you grieve better, knowing that you help cultivate this beautiful relationship with this child. But no, you decide to ignore her and like abandon her because you don't like the way that she got here. You're lame. Lame. And what I really feel like happened is when Lisa actually came to them people and was like, yo, I know your granddaughter, they probably were embarrassed and ashamed, and they should be, because that is shameful as I don't know what, for you to allow yourself to not be a part of this child's life, to ostracize her because you don't like the way that she got here. Because you couldn't grapple with the fact that your child decided to be an adult and consent to being intimate with somebody else and having a baby out of wedlock. Like, girl, what? Stupid. I just think them people was embarrassed because Lisa, someone that's notable, that's on TV, knows their dirty secret. Because I bet you Lisa probably didn't even know they had a grandchild. Because she didn't even know that Gwen was them people's grandchild. So they are ashamed. Should be. I hope they get ridiculed. Raggedy people. Raggedy. Raggedy. So the next scene we have is of Whitney, Heather, and Brittany going skiing and snowboarding. Been skiing before. It ain't my cup of tea. I'm the type of person that, like, after I go down the slope at least like 4 or 5 times, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I don't want to be out there all day. I want to take these skis off. I want to take these ski boots off, and I want to go sit in that lodge, give me some cocoa, maybe a cute little like, donut or a brownie, and just, watch the snow fall. But I don't want to do all of that. I can't. So we see them skiing. They end up stopping, and shouts out to Whitney though, because like it takes a lot of core strength to snowboard, because I remember when we were going skiing, we were watching the people who were in snowboarding like classes, and the way them people were falling and flipping, and even the guy who was our ski instructor was telling us that it's easier to ski than snowboard. He was like, you need a lot of core strength, and a lot of people, he was like, they really don't have it. And I said, shh, you ain't lying, because I know I don't. So they stopped skiing and they were taking pictures, and Heather's like, Brittany, did you show Whitney your video? And Whitney's like, what video? And they end up showing the video. So it looks like Jared sent over flowers from Brittany's favorite florist. They were beautiful roses. They were like shades of like pink, like different shades of pink. They were really pretty. And then like he got her like a stuffed unicorn, and he also wrote this like really nice message towards her and gave her other gifts. And she was like, Jared really is like trying to talk to me. She was like, he's been calling me, FaceTiming me, all of this stuff, and I haven't really picked up, but I do think I need to have a conversation with him because I think he deserves closure. And I'm like, how are you trying to give him closure? And he told you y'all were best friends. Like, this was not, I don't know how you close a situationship other than you ghost them. like y'all stop talking because it's a situationship. It's not a relationship. Because I'm like, he's calling you his best friend. And then when Brittany has to sit down with him and explain the other things he has done to her, I'm like, there was no need for you to sit down with this man and try to have closure. Just stupid. And so she says, I need to talk to him. Like, I think he deserves closure. She was like, what was really kind of bothering me once I got back here is how involved Lisa was. And I was like, I know for a fact you not about to give Lisa the blues with the way that you were involving everybody in your relationship. And so they're like, what do you mean? And she was like, I just feel like Lisa was just too involved. I feel like her intentions were good, but she was just doing too much. She texted Jared. She was sending messages to Jared. It was just too much. And so then Whitney is like, yeah, I'm a little mad at Lisa too. And they're like, for what? So we see a flashback where the guy that I guess was like the concierge of the hotel ends up calling Whitney and saying like, hey, somebody left a box in the trash and it had a jewelry in it. And Whitney was like, did the box say Prism on the top of it? And the guy's like, yeah. And she was like, whose room number was it? And he says the room number, and that was Lisa's room number. So Brittany and Heather are like, whoa. And like Whitney was like, isn't that like completely disrespectful? And they were like, yeah, that is disrespectful, Whitney. Like, yeah, she shouldn't have did that. And so Whitney was like, I was already mad at Meredith. And so then Heather interjects and was like, well, Lisa is the one that told Meredith, and then Meredith is the one that told me. So now Whitney is like, are you serious? And she was like, then Whitney is like, Lisa is petty enough to throw my jewelry away, and I still feel like she's still mad about the podcast. And my thing about it is that Lisa was trying to tell Whitney last episode when they were sitting at the table that she was the one that told Meredith about the story. Like, Whitney told Lisa not to get involved, told Meredith, don't pull people into our situation. Lisa was trying to tell Whitney, I'm trying to help you clear things up because it wasn't like the way you think it is. And you told her to stay out of it, and then you started mocking her voice and she started mocking yours. So if you wasn't so bullheaded, Whitney, you would have found out in Milwaukee that Lisa was the one that told like Meredith that story, and she was the one that was telling on herself that she told Meredith that. So it's not some big revelation, especially not the way Heather is trying to make it seem. And when I tell you, Heather is like stirring the pot on both ends. She's stirring it with Whitney and Lisa, and she's stirring it with Lisa and Angie. And so she's like, so Whitney is just like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this because like this just doesn't make any sense. So then the next scene we see is of Mary and Robert Jr. So she's in the house getting ready to go to dance classes with Angie, and she's calling Robert Jr. Now, y'all saw in my last Spicy Corner, we found out that man was on a lot of things, and he only 21. He's only 21, and he doing the powder, the devil's lettuce, and the fentanyl. He doing a lot, okay? And so you can tell that Mary knows that her son is doing drugs because she was asking him like, are you hungry? And he was like, nah, not really. Then when she's about to leave, can you give me some money? And I'm like, you bum. And she's like, well, are you going to use the money for good things? Because remember, your body is like a plant. You have to feed it nutrients. You have to feed it good things. Like, and he was like, and she was like, and if you don't, what's going to happen? And he was like, it's going to wither away. So she knows her son is on that stuff. She knows her son because she even said in her confessional, she was just like, I don't think right now he has the attention span or the dedication to getting a job right now, but I know he needs to get one. And I'm like, ooh, girl, you know your child a bum. So we then see Angie pick Mary up. They go to hip hop dance classes. They actually see Heather's like 18-year-old daughter, Georgia, there. Girl, it was funny because the man was like jockeying to the left, jockeying to the right. It reminded me, I think, this is hip hop. You see how I'm sagging? That's hip hop. That meme will never not be funny to me. And even with Bob's Burgers, oh my gosh, have y'all seen that scene? She was like, because that's hip hop. You see how I'm sagging my pants? That's hip hop. Funny. So they're dancing, having a good time. And then the scene after the class is over, we have a scene of Mary and of Angie talking. And Angie is basically feeling like, she was very emotionally drained after getting into it with Lisa. She was like, for her to bring up my daughter and say that, like, I'm using my daughter against her, like getting off the phone with her, she felt was like a low blow. She also is just like, me and Lisa were like sisters. We talked from the morning till night. Like, we would talk to each other at lunch, to dinner. So for her to say that is crazy. And then Angie's like, on top of that, Heather is out here saying that I'm the reason why she's pulling away from me, and she's not even trying to see my side. So then we see Angie in this god awful confessional. This is such a horrible confessional. It's so ugly. She looks like, you know what she looked like to me? Have you seen the Trolls? The new Trolls movie, where like the villains of the Trolls, I don't know why this reminds me of what their outfits were, but she has on this outfit saying like Lisa's the problem. And so they do a montage. She was like, she fell out with Jen Shaw. I was like, Jen don't count. Jen is a criminal. She fell out with Heather. Heather I feel like kind of counts, but not really, because Heather wants to be with the head cheerleader in charge. Her and Meredith was definitely Lisa's fault. Whitney, no, because Whitney stirs the pot with everybody, and then when she got caught red-handed, she acts like she's stupid. Angie Harrington, we don't care about that lady. Okay, she was a one season wonder. Monica don't count either, because Monica was just jealous at the fact that Lisa had money, and she envied what Lisa had because she wanted to be cool with that lady. Mary be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at times, and their whole situation was mess. And then now Angie. And I hate how we're starting in the middle with Angie. Like, Angie did not cause this issue herself. You went to Whitney telling Whitney what Lisa said when she was venting to you about Whitney. And then when y'all sat down at the Bezos party, you act dumbfounded that the lady was going to be mad at you, that you were telling Whitney, who she has issues with, how she felt about her, but you're not doing the same if Whitney talks about her. So Angie, you started this. So if the lady is pulling away from you because you're becoming friends with somebody that she has issues with, why would you not think that would happen? We have is of Lisa and Heather going to like this salt cave spa thing. I've seen people do that a lot, and I want to try it because I heard it's like very relaxing and like very calming. I don't know if that's true, but I'd like to to try it. So they're sitting down and they're talking, and Heather brings up like, how are you feeling about Milwaukee? How are you feeling about Angie? And Lisa was like, bro, it was weird. Like, me and Angie, I haven't spoken to her yet or about it. Like, I don't know how to feel. And they did an after show, and we found out on the after show, they were like breaking news. Lisa actually unfollowed Whitney and Angie. I think she's still following everybody else, but except those two. I thought it was funny. But Lisa's just like, yeah, it just feels very like it was just weird. So then Heather is stirring the pot, because like I said, she's stirring the pot with Whitney and Lisa, now Lisa and Angie, where she was like, yeah, I feel like Angie is challenging you. Like, everything you do, she got an issue with. And they actually flash back to when they were arguing at the Harley Davidson thing. And, Lisa said, yeah, it felt weird. Like, it's always an hour. Like, she just has an issue with me out the blue. And so Lisa is just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know with Angie anymore. Like, right now, like, our relationship is definitely different. So Heather was like, I had a conversation with Angie in Milwaukee after the Harley Davidson dinner. And again, I don't think Lisa mentioning that she feels like Angie uses Electra to get off the phone with her was a low blow. Like, when Angie was speaking to Mary saying that, her bringing up my child was a low blow. I'm showing up for my daughter in the way I would want my mom to show up for me because I didn't have a mom. I was like, to me, that's a false equivalent. Her bringing up that she feels like you use your child to get off the phone is not a low blow. But like, critiquing her parenting, I don't think is a low blow, but it definitely is like more hurtful to me, in my opinion, because Heather ends up saying that not Meredith, but Angie comes to her room. They have a conversation, and Angie was like, for Lisa to say that about Electra, like, I'm a good mother. Like, for her to say that, like, I'm not like other mothers who let their children play video games to the wee hours of the night. And like, I take interest in my children. And like I said, production was messy for showing Henry playing video games in the beginning. And so Lisa is taken back by that. Heather is like, I felt like Lisa should know, so that's why I told her. Girl, stirring the pot. When I tell you Heather is like stirring the pot on both ends. So now, like, Lisa is hurt. Like, Lisa's like, that's a low blow. Like, she trying to say what I said was a low blow. That's a low blow for you to like question my parenting. And she was like, that's something you say when you don't want to come back from nothing. So she says in her confessional, I'm so sick of everyone questioning my parenting. It's one thing when I have strangers questioning how I parent and take care of my kids. Now to have like people that I'm friends with question how I take care of my kids, like, yeah, that's extremely hurtful. This scene of Whitney, her husband, and their oldest daughter, she was dropping her off for soccer. So while they're in the car, Whitney gets a phone call from some podcaster by the name of Adam. They didn't even showcase who Adam was. So I was like, that sucks that they didn't promote like his podcast. They just called him Adam Podcaster. And so the page that Whitney is like complaining about, Adam, I guess, has a relationship with said page. And he was like, let me reach out to them to figure out who's giving them this information about Prism and stuff like that. So he was like, well, I contacted the people and they were like, they can't tell me who gave them the information, but that doesn't stop you from asking me questions. So the Adam was like, oh, well, is this person, like, does this person own a jewelry business? And they were like, no. Does this person own a health business or a beauty brand? They were like, no. They were like, does this person own a liquor brand? And they said yes. So Whitney is taking this as confirmation that Lisa is the one that was putting out those pictures about her business. And I feel like this is it's very far-fetched to me, because that to me is not a confirmation. I would need more from that other party. Like, I would need you to like actually show me receipts that is in fact Lisa sending information, because I'm like, y'all just had the whole reality Von Tease thing. And what I'm not going to do is act like all these women don't be sending out information to these different blogs with a vested interest of that blog posting something in their favor or having the fans on their side. But just saying that someone with a liquor brand in your friend group is the one that sent the information, I'm gonna need more of a confirmation. That's just me. But Whitney and her husband feel like, oh wow, this really is Lisa. What's funny is before the episode, I saw this posted by Bravo Snarkside, where they were like, they saw these posts before and they put two pictures. They did the picture that the show keeps showing of Whitney and AliExpress in Prism, and then they had a second picture, and the caption basically was them saying that like, this isn't the first time somebody called out Whitney's jewelry line, saying that they've seen the exact same pictures on AliExpress. Now, is it wrong that Whitney is reselling AliExpress jewelry? Not really, because that's how people run wholesale. I think what's bothering people is how much she marked them up. Because if the necklace is only 36, like not 36, but $3.96 on AliExpress and you're selling it for $49, ma'am, you know? And I'm also like, the pictures are the exact same. Why are you not having models model with the necklace? Like, or take different pictures, put more effort into your business, because just posting the same pictures, it makes it easier for people to like reverse search the images, because I do that with a lot of stuff now. Especially if I see it on TikTok and I don't trust if it's real or not, I will reverse search an image and see if I can find a dupe or something similar to it. And normally I do, especially on, like, I've done that on Pinterest several times. So I'm just like, you could come up with something better. I think what really is interesting is that on the Bravo Snark side, like post that they posted, she has like a cross necklace, and on AliExpress, the necklace was like $1.64, but she trying to sell it for $43. It's like you marketing it up too much. Like, if you got the necklace for $1.64, why not sell it for maybe like, I don't know, $10? But I guess she's trying to market this as like a very high class like jewelry brand. And I'm also wondering if Whitney is telling these people like these are her original designs, because that's where I feel like you could get in trouble. If you're saying these are original designs that you have created, but then they can find them on AliExpress, you're lying. Whitney is taken aback by this news, and now she feels like it's now her mission to confront Lisa with this information. And she was like, this makes me question my friendship with Lisa. But honestly, if I was Lisa, I would never want to be friends with Whitney or Heather, because the way that they behaved season 1, where they were both like talking trash about Lisa, but still wanting to be friends with her, it would just be weird to me, because it's like, honestly, these people, they want to be close to you, but they also hate you at the same time. And that's always the way I have seen the friendship between Lisa and Whitney or Lisa and Heather. Like they don't really like you, but they want to be near you because you are the head cheerleader in charge. You are the girls that a lot of the girls down in Utah probably like and look up to, you know? So Brittany and Jared. When I tell you Brittany is what I thought Alexis was going to be, I can at least laugh at Brittany and not be like angry. I still think she is delusional, a pick me and a bird, but like I'm not angry or like, well, I'm not even angry when I see Alexis. I'm not irritated. I'm not irritated, but like she's still like cringy and goofy. So her and Jared finally meet up. I'm actually chewing gum for this because when Jared walks in, he's chewing gum. He's like, hey, can I have a hug? And she's like, yeah, sure. And they hold, they hug each other. She's like, ugh. And he's holding on to her like he's missed her. And they sit down and he's like, how you been? She was like, I've been okay. How have you been? Not so good, Brittany. Not so good. And she's like, ugh. So then Brittany's in her confessional being like, Jared deserves closure, and so do I. I said, so you want closure on a situationship. Okay. So then they're sitting there, and he's like, you know what? The waiter comes up before they can really get to talking, and he's like, can I get you guys something to start? And he's like, just give us a charcuterie board, and then we'll see where we go from here. And she's like, yeah, yeah. And so he's like, you know what, Brittany? Like, when you left, we were good, Like, you get to Milwaukee, and he's still chewing on that gum. You get to Milwaukee, and now you ghost me. You sent me that video, kissing me, saying you were going to go, like, message me back when you're at the game. And the next thing, it's nothing, Then I start getting, like, really mean texts from you. And then I get a video from Lisa Barlow. And so Brittany is just like, you're right. You're right. You're right, Jared. And so Brittany's in her confessional saying like she knows Lisa was doing what she thought what was right, but she shouldn't have allowed Lisa to know her like her private messages. She shouldn't allow Lisa to message him. So they actually show us the text messages. And basically Lisa texts him saying, hey, I hope you respect the fact that I'm with a bunch of girls on a trip and I'm not tied to my phone every 10 seconds. It feels manipulative when you know that I'm with the girls on a trip and you keep texting me. He hit it with a thumbs down emoji. Then he sent back 2 thumbs up emojis and says, don't worry about it. And then Lisa texts back, actually, I'm good. So then he texts back saying, awesome. Thank you so much. And then she thumbs it up. I said, oh, Lisa said, play in traffic. Don't play with me. So then he's like, Brittany, what's going on? Like, because I feel like I've been a good man to you. I've been good to you, Brittany. And so Brittany was like, well, you don't really make me feel safe, like Jared. And he's like, what do you mean? She's like, Jared, I love you. I didn't understand why she did the heart. She's like, Jared, I love you. I said, what the why did you do that? She's like, I love you, but you don't make me feel safe, Jared. You don't. You don't. And Jared's like, she was like, you're the one. And then Jared's like, well, I don't want our private lives out, like our private messages and our privacy out there. And she's like, no, Jared, you want to be private. I don't. So then Brittany's in her confessional talking about how Jared doesn't post her on his social media. And I was like, that's not really a big thing to me because I know a lot of people who don't post their significant others on social media, but like we know that they're together. We might see them on like their Insta stories and stuff. But she was like, he's still on dating apps as well as whenever they're walking in public, he will drop her hand if he sees another girl that walks by that he deems attractive. And I said, girl, that should have been a red flag and you should have had the balls enough or the ovaries enough to be like, yeah, I'm worth better than this. I don't want to be with someone who treats me this way. Because there's no way that you've been on again, off again with this person and y'all been together for, I think she said 8 months and y'all have broken up 16 or 18 times and he's discarded you in that way. Because I've never been with a guy where we're like holding hands and he sees somebody attractive and immediately drops my hand. Like that would have been done for me. Like I would have been like, yeah, this ain't it. Because you're not going to make me feel like undesirable or like Yeah, you're just not gonna make me feel that way. And the fact that she puts up with it says a lot more about Brittany than anything. So then Brittany starts to be like, so can you just admit that you don't make me feel safe, Jared? And Jared is like, I've given you a lot. So that was his way of saying no, and that he's not going to make their relationship public. And so Brittany is sitting at the table like, okay, Jared, okay, okay. And then Jared just looking at her like, yeah, okay. And the scene ends there. Cringe. It was so, the whole entire conversation was cringe because he was playing in her face. And it's like Brittany knows he's playing in her face, but she wants their relationship to work out for some reason. And I'm like, it's a situationship more than anything. We then get to this scene of Bronwyn and her daughter. Girl, they eating crumble cookies. And I just found out that crumble cookies, like the owners are from Utah. So that makes sense. But it just made me laugh because of all the black people who have been trying crumble and think it's nasty. I don't like crumble cookies. Like there's only been like maybe one or two cookies, which they had like a blueberry pancake cookie and this like regular sugar cookie that I've liked. I'm more of an insomnia cookie girl. Okay, give me a a macadamia ice cream sandwich or a macadamia cookie. You won me over, bro. Won me over. So we're at Bronwyn's house with her daughter. They sit down to have a conversation about her father's family reaching out to her. And pretty much what it boils down to, it seems like the grandparents want Gwen to like be on their time when it's like, no, y'all have to be on her time. She basically got a text from them saying like, hey, we're willing, like we want to have a relationship with you and as long as you're ready to accept us as we are. And I'm like, no, she should have texted that to them because you were in the wrong, not Gwen. And so Bronwyn gets emotional as she's talking to Gwen, basically saying how she thought if she was just this really good mother and did the best that she could do and gave you everything that you wanted, you would never want for that relationship. But she realizes how like how dumb that was to think that of course you would want to know that side of your family, a piece of you. And Gwen is just like, yeah, I've only seen like 4 pictures of him and I just want something tangible that lets me know like this was my father. And she's like, I don't know how I feel about reaching out to them because she's like, I'm afraid of being disappointed, but they're the ones that holds the key to me understanding like who he was as a person. And that sucks. That sucks, especially for her, because you can tell that she probably is not feeling her grandparents, but it's like, okay, there's the only ones that's going to be able to give me information about about my dad. But I wonder if he has siblings or maybe like a cousin or an aunt or an uncle you can reach out to who are not them that would be willing to give her information about him that she wouldn't have to go through them. Because I would hate for us to get to the reunion and Bronwyn gives us an update and she like, the family played in Gwen's face. Because at the end of the day, she's not wrong. And it was a pretty like strong statement when Bronwyn says, Gwen is the only one in this whole entire situation that didn't make choices, but she feels the choices or the weight of everybody's choice. And I was just like, damn, that's true. She didn't make any of these. She didn't make the choice of like you sleeping with her father and choosing to keep the pregnancy. Because honestly, I would have I took care of it, okay? But she didn't make that choice. You chose to have her. His parents chose and he chose not to have a relationship with her. Then, he died and now they continue to keep ignoring her. And so now she is 18 years old and she's about to be like a fully like grown adult. And now she has to deal with the fact that like you guys chose not to be in her life. And that sucks. The last scene we see is of the ladies going zip lining. So it's Heather, Mary, Brittany, and Lisa, which I thought was an odd pairing because I'm like, Mary doesn't like Brittany, and it doesn't even seem like she really likes Lisa or Heather. Like, I was just like, this is just weird. But okay. So Mary pulls up. She in all white. Everybody else got on like black and other outfits. They get on this ATV, but they have to go through all of this mud to actually like get to the station so that they can zip line. It's so much mud. Mary got her hat on just like, oh my gosh, what is this? Mud going everywhere. And she was like, why did I wear white? When they finally get to the station, Heather has like dirt in her teeth everywhere because she was in the front, and the guy who was driving the car was like, oh, that was a smooth ride. And Mary said, that was smooth. And so they get on it. Heather is at first kind of nervous, but she was just like, I'm gonna just do it. And Mary was a pro, and we found out that Mary enjoys zip lining. She was talking about zip lining on the Disney cruise, and in Jamaica, she was like, it's very freeing. So she had a good time. So they end up having lunch at the zip lining site. Now, mind you, it is dirty. It's like, well, I won't say dirty, but it's like on a dirt road, gravel. Like, it's not the same as when they were doing the team building exercise where they had like a pavilion with like picnic tables. They're legit like on the side of the road with like a propped up table eating charcuterie, like eating with a nice little charcuterie spread and like solo cups drinking wine. And Mary is like, oh, so we really roughing it. Cause she said, "What's this?" Mary said, so we really roughing it tonight." And so then the producers asked Mary, like, "You never went tailgating?" She was like, "What the hell is tailgating? What is that? What's tailgating?" And she was like, "When you do the barbecue?" I said, "Girl, it's a cookout." So we clearly, Mary ain't never tailgated. Because I was like, I was like, technically they are kind of tailgating, but like, I don't consider that tailgating. I need to see like at least 4 or 5 grills and some nice tents for me to tailgate. But I just thought it was funny because Mary was like, "I don't know what tailgating is. Like, what are you talking about?" So while they're sitting there, they're all having like a good time, just talking. And so then Heather ends up presenting Brittany this unicorn, and Mary is like, "Why are you giving her a unicorn?" And we find out that's when I found out that unicorns is like Brittany's favorite animal. And Heather was like, "Cause you're stronger, you're magical, blah 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 blue." And so next thing you know, Brittany starts to get an attitude with Lisa, saying that she feels like Lisa crossed the line and was too involved in her relationship. And Mary is looking at Brittany like, "Girl, you brought us into your relationship." And I'm like, "Thank you." And Lisa is looking at her like, I like what? Because then Brittany is like, all those text messages you did, I think it was just too much. And so Lisa was like, "Well, we were laughing and kikiing about it, and now it's too much. And now I need to stay out of your relationship." And I'm looking at her like, "Well, girl, you were the reason why everybody was in your relationship. You were making announcements every 5 to 10 minutes about like, oh, you guys, you know what? Me and Jared are official now. We were in Costco. Now we're at the table. Oh, me and Jared are broken up." Like, you made your relationships everybody's like your focal point of like who you are. That's why Angie felt inclined to tell you that her brow girl, he was getting, hot and heavy with her in the DMs. And now you're saying that like everybody needs to stay out of your relationship. I wanted Lisa to cuss her out. But Lisa was real nice to her when I'm like, "Girl, you should have cussed her out." Because I'd have cussed her out because what are you talking about? You contacted me to be a part of this, sis. Like, what are you talking about, ma'am? Lisa's in her confessional being like, if I had not been the backbone for Brittany, she still would have been with a man that's calling her her friend. So what is she talking about? So then Lisa tells Brittany, "You know what? I'll stay out of your relationship." And Mary said, "Yeah, leave us out of your relationship." And Brittany was like, "I would never want you guys in my relationship. You, especially you, Mary, in my relationship." And Mary was like, "Good." And Heather's like, "Yeah, girl, leave me out of it too." And I'm just like, yeah, y'all should have cussed her out. Because what? Delusional. I told you, pick me bird, delusional heifer. She's delusional, bro. Because there's no way that you are mad. And what it feels like is that Brittany wants to have an opening with Jared because she was like, "Well, I want us to be able to be friends. Why do you want to be friends with somebody who easily can like discard you?" Like, you do not. Maybe she don't do well with rejection, but this man has told you in so many words that he really is never going to give you what you want. Like, and maybe that's what Brittany is thinking, that if she plays the long game, that eventually he'll like settle down and like, be what she wants. But that man he don't respect you, nor does he care about you. Because someone that respects and loves and cares about you, even if they don't really see a relationship working out, will not be playing in your face this hard. But he knows you'll go down for it because he knows you're that desperate and thirsty. Told you, pick me bird heifer. And she delusional. Okay, delusional, bro. So they're sitting down and Heather ends up standing up to get something to eat. And they start talking. Is it No, no, no. Heather gets up to get something to drink, and she's like, "Well, Mary, I saw that you met with Georgia." And Heather's like, "Yeah, I met." No, Mary's like, "Yeah, I met with Georgia," and everyone's like, "Oh, so what were y'all doing?" And Mary was being awkward as hell because she didn't want to tell them that she was hanging out with Angie, like that's who she was in the dance classes with, because they were like, okay, so what were y'all doing, like give us more. And then she finally said like, yeah, I was hanging out with Angie. So they're like, okay, cool, that's nice, that's like, Lisa is over it. And so I think Mary was like, well, Lisa, have you talked to Angie? And Lisa's like, no, because I found out that she questioned me as a mother, saying that I wasn't a good mother to my kids, and I was crying about it. So then Mary was like, well, why don't you talk to her? She was like, well, Heather's the one that told me this. And Lisa's like, well, she can call me. Like, I don't have to call her about this situation. She's the one that said that I wasn't being a good mother to my kids. And so then Mary turns her energy towards Heather. And she's like, you know what, Heather? I feel like you be in everything. She was like, why didn't you have Angie's back? Because you've known Angie for 15 years and y'all been friends a lot longer. And Heather's like, well, I do have Angie's back. And so Heather starts stuttering. And she's just like, but I feel like Angie is just like unnecessarily coming for Lisa, and I'm okay with voicing that. And everything I told Lisa, I could tell Angie to her face. And so then that's when Mary says she feels like Heather like stirs the pot, like she's two-faced. Like she'll say one thing to somebody, but she like leaves a trail of like lies. So she actually tells Heather, I feel like you leave a trails of lies. Heather's like, girl, what? She said we had the whole black eye situation, which, girl, that people not gonna let Heather live that down. That Jim pushed that lady in the face. They not gonna let Heather live that down. So I call a little bit of cap on Mary. Now I was with Mary when she was like, Heather lied about the black eye. Heather ain't gonna never live that down because, girl, you lied, like blatantly lied. But when it came to Mary criticizing Heather about her lying about body positivity, and I like Lisa jumped in and was like, well, she was saying it was a lie for her, but she's not. But like that doesn't mean she's a liar. Now I feel like they chopped and screwed that conversation because I feel like something was missing, because the conversation ended with when Mary saying, I'm not trying to like make you feel bad or like upset you. And, Heather's like, I understand. We just are at an impasse in our relationship because like that's a lot for you to say. But I actually agree with Heather. Like, we're going to have to call it thing a thing. Like, you can body positivity or be a part of the body positivity movement in the sense of like, you should love your body no matter what. Whether you gain 100 pounds, whether you lose 100 pounds, whether you're tall, short, stubby, whether you are chubby, fat, super skinny, not like, in the middle. Like, you should love your body because at the end of the day, it is your body and you only get one. But we cannot act like at the end of the day, society still plays in people who are larger's face. Like, people get made fun of, ridiculed, get called names if they're over a certain size. People have certain stigmas. If they're over a certain size, it's normally denoted with being lazy and not disciplined and everything. So like, if you have the opportunity to lose weight, which is using Ozempic, I think a lot of people would take that opportunity, especially even if they are part of the body positivity movement. I've seen a lot of people on TikTok talk about that, where there are a lot of the people who are notable figures in the body positivity movement in the beginning of TikTok have now gotten a lot smaller. Lizzo, you can tell, is like starting to like slim down. She's still a big girl, but she's starting to like become more fit and slender. And we can't act like there's not hierarchies in body positivity as well. Like, a desirable body, if you are a big girl, you got big hips, big boobies, a nice butt, but you got a little bit of chub on you, you're sexy, you're acceptable. But if you got a whole gut like I do, yeah, girl, you're fat. You're not desirable. You're ugly. Get rid of that. Fix it. So for Mary to be like what Heather said didn't make sense. That, no, because this is the same Mary that called Millie fat pretty much the first episode when they went on that ropes course. She was like, oh, I didn't know Millie was that big. The same Mary that was making fun of Heather, saying like, oh, I didn't even know they made that in her size, when she had on, I think it was like a Gucci corset, saying that it wasn't real because they don't make them that big. And the same person that when she saw Heather when at the Bezos party was like, oh, you looking skinny. So like, how can you tell her that she was wrong for saying that the body positivity movement is a lie when you are one of the people who like validates that statement. You're telling me to love my body, but yet you ridicule me at every chance you get because you don't think my body is desirable. Honestly, worry about your own body. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in them comments below and share your thoughts. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know that you stopped by. Deuces.